And now for our next news special report.
Tonight, in an unprecedented shift, former President Bill Clinton, a stalwart of the Democrat Party, stands with Republicans openly challenging New York City's sanctuary city laws. Clinton's decision is echoing in political corridors nationwide. Why the sudden change in stance? And what's the compelling reason for it? Stick around, because in this special report, I will not only dive deep into this unexpected turn of events, but also share a critical perspective in our final thought that you do not want to miss. New York City, the city that never sleeps, has lately found itself at the epicenter of a debate involving its policies, especially the right to shelter law. Instituted decades ago, this law mandates the city to provide shelter to its homeless residents and even those migrating into the city. The intention behind the law at the time of its inception might have been noble. After all, it was primarily aimed at addressing homelessness. However, with the ever-growing migrant crisis, thanks to Joe Biden's open border policies, the pressure on New York City's infrastructure is at an all-time high. And that's where the controversy begins. The recent times have seen an influx of migrants, illegal aliens, many of whom have come after crossing the southern border from Mexico. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, he paints a grim picture of the future. His projections suggest that in the coming years, the city may have to funnel over $12 billion to address the implications of the ongoing crisis. Now let's pause and consider this for a moment. The migrant crisis isn't a problem only for New York City. It's been a challenging aspect of America's socio-political fabric for years. But when you have leading figures like Bill Clinton and New York Governor Kathy Hochul suggesting the need for a reevaluation and the potential amendment of such policies, it's time to sit up and take notice. During a recent radio appearance, Clinton articulated his concerns regarding New York City's right to shelter law, and he didn't mince words, proclaiming the law broken. Clinton went on to suggest that the law doesn't make logical sense in its current form. Listen.
The real problem they've got now in an emergency is that is not the people that were sent up here from Florida and Texas, by and large. It's the huge number of Venezuelans who have showed up because of the collapse of the Venezuelan economy. And under American law, going back for decades, I mean, way before any of this current fight started, we have always had a blanket offer of entry into America for people who have a reasonable fear for the lives and safety of their families and themselves. And so a lot of the Venezuelans can easily make that case, but they come in here, and under the current law, they have to wait 6 months for a work permit. Now, very few of them do. About 80% of the people who come to New York and to Massachusetts, the two states with right to shelter laws within the state, although I see Governor Hochul thinks it should be modified, and it probably should under the current circumstances. It's just because they come up here and we're supposed to shelter people who can't get work permits for 6 months. And there's just we need to change that. We need to, if they want to work, they need to be working, paying taxes, and paying their way. And most of these people have no interest in being on welfare for themselves or their families. They want to work, and they're not allowed to under the system as it now works. It's broken, and we need to fix it. We need to rush through these things. And because all these people, I mean, even in Florida where the climate seems to be hostile, there's this very large number of immigrants working to help clean up after storms, because Florida has so many of them. And they go in and clean the house, sort what's savable and what's not, and help people get started again. And they work for Lord knows what they get, maybe $100 a day or something. But it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense. This isn't just a matter of rhetoric. It's about the reality that the city is experiencing. Clinton highlighted the absurdity of providing shelter to individuals who might wait around 6 months for work permits. His words were a call to action. They ought to work. They need to begin working, paying taxes, and paying their way. Most of these people have no interest in being on welfare. In a way, it's reminiscent of our natural process our bodies go through, where something that once worked for us now needs amendment or intervention. Consider our muscles. As we age, especially after we hit the age of 30, our muscle mass tends to decline, resulting in weight gain and increased susceptibility to falls. To address this, products boasting ingredients like MyHMB, creatine, betaine, and vitamin D3 are crucial. They not only fight muscle loss, but also boost our endurance and performance. If you too are feeling the effects of age, claim this special product at gainwithgary.com and benefit from a whopping 41% discount along with some extra gifts. Remember, like our society, our bodies also need timely intervention to remain at their optimal best. Now back to the topic at hand. The ramifications of the existing policies aren't limited to the city's fiscal health or its ability to provide shelter. It's also a matter of national optics. Clinton was candid in his interview, noting that the migrant crisis unraveling in major cities, particularly in New York, is far from a positive portrayal for the Democrats. It's noteworthy that this isn't just about partisan politics. The very essence of this debate is rooted in the fundamental question of how America, a great republic, addresses immigration. It's well known that Clinton, even in this critical juncture, highlighted the importance of immigration. He underscored how it's beneficial for America given the country's declining birth rate. He went on to point out the current labor shortage in various American regions, which can be addressed effectively by the immigrant population. Yet Clinton's concerns about the city's policies are hard to dismiss. The very fact that prominent figures like Louis Martin, chief advisor to Mayor Eric Adams, are voicing similar sentiments suggests a broader realization. Louis Martin stated that New York City shouldn't bear the responsibility of housing migrants based solely on the state's right to shelter laws. And Clinton isn't alone. There's a growing choir of voices, even from within the Democrat fold, calling for a reevaluation of the city's policies. Governor Hochul, echoing Clinton's sentiments, highlighted how the mandate was never intended to make the city responsible for housing literally the entire world. This view was further substantiated by the comments of Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Hochul, both of whom emphasized that the original intention was to address homelessness and not cater to the current flood of migrants that Joe Biden is welcoming into this country. Ironically, this influx has been exacerbated by decisions from Republican governors like Greg Abbott of Texas and Ron DeSantis of Florida, who have been shipping migrants to New York City, and thankfully so. It's as if the city, already gripping with its challenges, is being further burdened by political decisions from other states. But of course, those states have called themselves sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, and I'm thankful that Abbott and DeSantis have decided to ship the migrants there. In concluding this exclusive report, we're witnessing a seismic shift in the political landscape. Bill Clinton, a stalwart of the Democrat Party, publicly breaking ranks, raises eyebrows and threatens to fracture long-held party lines on immigration. The gravity of this cannot be understated. When a figure of Clinton's stature and influence diverges from party doctrine, it may well signal the beginning of a tectonic shift in the national conversation around immigration. The underlying message is unambiguous. America must prioritize and champion legal immigration. The risks of unchecked policies are too great, and the stakes have never been higher. Clinton's stance is more than just personal opinion. It's a challenge to the status quo, an urgent call to reassess and realign our immigration policies with American values. This could be a watershed moment in the debate, prompting both parties to reckon with the complexities of immigration in the modern era. The big question now, who will join him?
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.